right, and this is a very intelligent observation you made. To just get the attention, to grab the attention suddenly.
Mm.
Wrong words are more
Now
useful.
being recorded.
Okay.
If you
Thank
use a
you.
bizarre word or a slang or some wrong language, people would suddenly get attracted, right? Elena has written something. Yesterday I asked if random promotional messages, what did you write? So Elena, I lost your message. Oh, please write again. Mm, You had written something, Elena. Yesterday I asked if random promotional messages that telecom and other companies send on mobile phones are also advertisements. Of course, they are advertisements. And this is known something like below the line ads. Okay, again, a very intelligent question, Alina. Let me elaborate this a little. You can divide advertising into two broad things, above the line and below the line, BTL and ATL. And these days, there is also in the line advertisements. So, ATL is where you have clear demarcation of who is giving you this ad. The sponsor is very, very clear. Okay, this ad is coming on my television. Somebody has paid for this television slot, right? But below the line is when I might just talk to you and in a very subtle manner, I might give you an ad. So not only on your mobile phone, if you commute by bus or by train or by any metro or subway, you would see advertisements on those vehicles, right? I'm sure in your country also you would see that. Or if somebody has a scooter on the stepney, there is an ad. If somebody is going on a cycle, there is an ad pasted on the bicycle. So these are below the line ads. So on your mobile phones also, you get these ads. They have paid for it. They have taken your data, they have taken your number, they have paid for that data, and now they're promoting their product or service on your mobile phone. And also, Elena, one more thing. One is you get SMS on your mobile or you get a WhatsApp message, right? Another is you are using an app. Mustafa, do we do that? We use an app, maybe any app, Google Maps or say Play Store or which are the popular apps in your country? I wouldn't know. Maybe a food app. And suddenly an advertisement appears on that app. You're using a food app to order lunch for yourself, and an advertisement for a nutritionist or a dietitian in your area appears. So this person has placed that ad in that app. So on your mobile phones, there can be different kinds of advertisements, which are direct messages to you or which are in-app placements. So these are below the line. You are not there to see the ad. You are there to do something else, and suddenly an ad appears. Also, Elena, one very interesting trend that is there these days with influencers, online influencers that are there, right? So influencers, it's supposedly you are an influencer for say you are a food blogger and you are a very good cook and you start your YouTube channel or an Insta channel and in your account there are many followers. And if I am a company who makes spices, I might tie up with you. Or if I am a company who makes butter or bread, I might tie up with you. And I would say, Elena, when you are making your recipes, tell people to use Padmini spices or Padmini branded butter, right? So people would think because we are following Elena as an influencer, if she is suggesting this brand would be good. What people would not know is that I am paying you to take my name. So now these are hidden advertisements. And these days there is a lot of criticism where the influencers are being told that you should mention that you are being paid to advertise this product. Are you following these influencer trends around you? Do you see all this happening? We have somebody who is joined, a few Bishir. Uh, Hi Bishir. Hello Bishir. Hi Bishir. I think it's good morning in your part of the country. So good morning Bishir. Glad that you've joined. So Mustafa and Elna were pointing out some very interesting questions. Friends, I think I should start with block two. It's been a little break and is your permission? With your permission, I start with block two now, okay? So we ended with block five, all four units. We did three of them yesterday, one today. Now we did today the working of an adjutant. See, there was a reason I did not do unit four yesterday because whatever we discussed in unit four in a generalized manner, now in a very specific manner, we will be discussing it in this block with four next units. Uh, Mustafa. Hi. Oh, whose kid is speaking there? Friends, why don't you all switch on your cameras? I would really, really like to see all of you and the surroundings and settings you are in, maybe your family members. Elena, Mustafa, Bishir, would you please switch on your camera? I have switched on the transcript on this Google Meets because I always doubt that these are different accents of English that we talk in. So maybe the accent might be problematic. So I've switched on the transcript. I hope it is becoming easier for you to follow with the transcript. Another thing that I'm trying to do is I usually tend to speak very fast. So with fast, with different accents again of English, maybe we would not be able to catch up. So I'm trying consciously to speak slow. Thank you. Hi, good to look at you. Mustafa, how are you? And which country have you joined us from?
It's Nigeria.
Hi. So it is good afternoon from India. So good morning in Nigeria,
Yeah, it is
right?
morning here in Nigeria. It is morning, certainly.
Alina, we'd love to look at you also. Can you switch on your? I think she's at work, so it's not possible to switch on. But good. Thank you, Mustafa. You were here yesterday, and I think you left the class after some time. Right. Oh, we have someone very pretty here. Hi, Lene. Even Bashir has turned on the camera. People are inspired by you. Ah,
Good morning, ma'am.
thank you, Mustafa. You led the trade, and both of them have now inspired by you. Even they have switched on the camera. So it is good to look at faces. I while speaking, I felt sleepy. I was like, okay, maybe I'm the only one speaking. There is no one listening to me. So now I feel you guys are listening to me. Thank you. So to both of you again, happy Dashera, happy Vijayadashmi. This is a big festival in India. So we have a holiday today. So I'm taking this class from my home, which is Gurgaon. Have you all visited India ever? Or any of you who's visited India? Helene, Mustafa, Bishir, any of you has visited India? No? None of you?
Only in my dream.
Oh, I hope your dreams turn to reality. We'll be glad to host you here. You're most
I
welcome.
am hoping so. I am hoping so.
Chalo, that was a very smart reply. So now I'm moving on to block two. In next 1 hour, we try to cover the 4 units of block two. I'll just be able to devote 15 minutes each to this unit. So friends, you are either journalists, content creators working in radio. I think Elena was working in some hospital last I knew. Forgotten now. So maybe advertising in public relations is new to you. So I'm just giving you a very basic sketch of what to expect when you pick up your study material and you study these units. I hope the presentation is visible. So in block two, as I said earlier, there are account planning, research and campaign, ideation and copywriting, and media planning. These are the 4 units that we will be discussing. Advertising is all about persuading someone to sell your product. So these are the 4 basic units and of this block, which happen to be the 4 basic departments of an ad agency, right? With 4 of you here, oh, we have someone else who has joined. I can't pronounce your names; they're a little different. Tiange Kalua, morning. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Pardon my pronunciation because I'm not familiar with the language there. So Tiange, welcome to you also. So moving on to this, unit 5 is about account planning and client servicing. I'll just introduce this unit to you. We saw in the previous unit who is a client servicing person. Client servicing especially is pillar of the communications business, be it advertising, public relations, digital marketing firms, whatever firm it is. The person who is servicing the client, who is talking to the client, bringing the business to the agency, we can easily call that person the pillar of the business. The client servicing team is closely connected to the client. Of course, we know that by now. The name specifies that. It coordinates on a regular basis to understand the client's needs and delivers to their expectations. The professional works closely with other teams like the creative team, the content team, copywriters to fulfill the objectives that are set by the client, right? This is just a basic introduction of client surfacing, which you are already know from the previous unit. After you have gone through this unit, we expect you that you would understand the terms account planning and client servicing as different terms. You would be able to explain the transition between these roles and the liaising between these roles. And maybe you can just know the tips and tricks to be a good account planner or a client servicing person. I come to account planning specifically. Account planning is the function that brings consumers and brands together. It involves synthesizing multiple feeds from life, maybe popular culture, politics, history, mythology, everything, everyday behavior by spending time with the consumers, right? Everything has to be reflected in your account, in your brand, in your company's role. So account planning is known as brand planning or strategic planning also. So if somebody tells you I'm an account planner, you can say, oh, so you're a brand planner or you're a strategic planner, right? Now, where did this all start? uh, the two undisputed fathers of account planning are Stephen King of JWP and Stanley Follett of BMP, who were working in separate agencies. Now, these are the people who are known to be great account planners, and learning from them what is the role of account planner is, this person we can say is a catalyst for the creative department. This person drives a new business pitch and also business analysis of sorts for the client. Right? So whenever you have to catch a new business or a new account, I would request you to please switch off your mics. There is an incoming disturbance. So you can divide the role of an account planner into certain things. The planner must research the market, analyze the data, must be able to have a lot of knowledge, creative brainstorming, media planning, strategic thinking, data insights, social anthropology, also the person might have to do. So, if you have to do so many things, what are the qualities that a person must possess to become a good account planner? You have to be passionate about the advertising process. You should be curious. You should have good communication skills, aptitude for research, and also a team player with an open mind. Now, friends, there are many, many interesting stories in the advertising business in India. I'm sure even in your country, how the account planner and the client together, sometimes they fight, sometimes they liaison, but together they are able to come up with good campaigns or good taglines or memorable campaigns. So I would just request you as an exercise, start reading some stories about how advertising agencies and clients together were able to come up with campaigns. That would be something very, very interesting. Right? So now client servicing, after account planning, a person who's liaising with the account comes a very important profession, which is client servicing. Client service managers are responsible for all the objective setup of the client. They connect the agency's creative efforts with advertisers' needs from the first meeting when there is a new account to the whole process of advertising. It is important to understand. Uh,
I think it's from Aliu. You should ask him to switch off his
that's
mic.
just okay. I think I will. Yeah, they have switched off the mic. I will mute them. Okay. Bishir, I've muted Bishir. It was a little sound. But isn't it interesting? You people are doing a class from your home. I am taking this class from my home. There might be your kids around. There might be family members around. So with the advent of the digital media, we can just connect and have these classes here. That's kind of interesting, right? So now the sound is gone. Oh, am I visible? I think even my camera has gone. I'll switch on my camera. Yeah.
You are visible. You are visible.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I think you all now know who is a client. If you are working for an agency, you will have continuous, love-hate relationships with your client. As I said, that maybe it would be really interesting to look at certain stories of how client servicing or account planning people and the clients would fight and maybe come up with good things. So maybe I'll give you one very, very small story from my advertising days experience. I was into client servicing. So once we were handling an account for a bank. HDFC is a very popular bank in India, and we were handling their account. Now there was a festival, and for that festival, they wanted us to make certain flyers because they wanted that people during the festive season would come and invest more and maybe open fresh accounts. So we came up with a very colorful flyer. And when we took it to that client in the HDFC bank, the manager was like, "Oh, this is too colorful. You should come up with something subtle." And we wanted to tell the person as an agency, because this is a festival, people would want to be colorful, they would like to be chirpy. But the client said, "No, I want something very subtle." So we wanted to. Now there is a big fight that we had. And we have, of course, the client is paying for the whole campaign. But as a client servicing person, it was my job to come up with a campaign that would be more effective. So we had a small fight. Then I have to have had to have something, maybe a sandwich technique, good communication. I told the client, "Oh wow, you understand your business so well. I'm glad that you're giving us these suggestions. How about putting a little yellow in your subtle communication? Maybe that signifies this festival. Maybe that signifies fire, which is the primary ingredient of this festival." And very certainly, I got yellow, then red, then blue included into that, whole creative uh, presentation of the ad. And gradually we came up with the ad, and the ad became a huge success. So you can fight with the client, but eventually you know what is brilliant for them. I'll give you another example from my days in advertising. Okay. So if you're aware of Indian currency, in Indian currency, rupee one is the first currency rupee that we begin with, and we go higher. So there was a client called Cremica, and they had biscuits which were of 5 rupees, which is kind of a cheap biscuit packet. It is very inexpensive; anybody can buy. Okay, and they also had biscuits which were like 700 rupees a packet. So for the 700 rupee packet, we built a very brilliant packaging for them, which was golden and which was a niche packaging. So golden and brown and little purple color and a very niche royal kind of a packaging. Okay. And for the 5 rupee biscuit, which is a coconut biscuit, we gave them a packaging which was uh, blue and silver, which was little in your face. Now, this client did not like that packaging. He said, "Oh, I want that kind of a packaging for this biscuit." As a client servicing person, as a person who understood the brand and the target audience, I knew that the person who is buying a 5 rupee biscuit packet is the person who has to get attracted, right? Like Mustafa just asked me, there are bad languages in advertisements. That is to attract. So you have to have an in the face thing, because a 5 rupee packet, somebody has to just buy off the shelf. For 700 rupees, a person might think when they go to the market, "I would want to buy Cremica Bourbon biscuits." But for this cheaper purchase, it should be present on the shelf, and it should be calling people, "Okay, come and buy me." Right? So we had a big fight because the client wouldn't agree at the color of this package. Okay. But I made that person understand, and eventually we came up with that packet. So there are some kinds of interesting stories which you get to read in magazines and newspapers also. A client is, of course, very important because the client is the one paying the money. The client is the one for whom you're working. The client is the one whose product has to succeed by way of your advertisements. So this love-hate relationship really, really goes. Right? What are the types of clients? You might identify clients into two, three types, be it advertising or PR. The key to being a good client servicing professional is knowing your client in and out. You have to understand the client's job role and also work collaboratively in a way that you are able to address the brand's requirements. The client should be able to trust you as a client servicing or an account planning personnel with their money, with their brand, with their market, right? With their business. So you have to understand them, their personalities. There might be different clients. Sometimes there might be a very introvert client who is very studious, or somebody who is very flamboyant. You have to understand them, form friendships with them, or also understand their brand. So, what are the ways of effective client servicing if there is so much lying on your head that you have to liaison with your client? So, there are some really tips I can give you. Never say never. If a client says, "I want it this way," don't say no. Never say never. Try to just bridge it into making some sensible thing. You have to manage your team very correctly. You, of course, have to be a team player. Speak the client's language because it is the client whose account you are handling. Go that extra mile, work that extra hour, write that extra word, research that extra bit, go that extra mile for your client. And research, research, and research is only what can make you a good account planner or a good client servicing person. A client servicing person must be creative and should have a human touch to the brand or the messaging or the communication that is there. What makes you an effective client servicing professional is keeping calm and listening. Try to understand the problem, set the expectations right. These are some ready tips that I'm giving you if you want to be in this profession, if you want to be a client servicing personnel. Do not take a lot of stress, be on your toes always. Communicate consistently, be patient, and most importantly, meet the deadlines. All your efforts would be worthless if they do not come at the deadline or if the deadline is not met. Right? So, I wanted you to interact. I mean, check your progress is an indication that we must interact. Do you understand the difference between client servicing and account planning? I hope you do. These are not very watertight compartments. They obviously these roles are they merge into each other's roles also. But over the years, there is a change in these roles. There is a rise in digital and social media, and lines are quickly blurring between various communication disciplines. So there is a change with the technology and the consumer environment both changing. Right? PR and advertising are merging, client servicing, account planning are merging, marketing and advertising are merging. The communication industry is undergoing a radical change almost every day. I would rather say every second, every nanosecond, you have a new thing. Suddenly AI comes up, chat GPT comes up, bard comes up, or other AI softwares come up, and advertising content writing goes through a complete makeover. Planners need to move from being servants of creative product to leaders of new agenda for brands and businesses. This is required. So perspective changes. So these are big changes that have come up with the digital being there. In the next 50 years or even in next 5 years, you will experience a lot of change. I think you will really agree that advertisements that you see today have now changed. From television, you have moved to your computer screens. You now watch series on OTT platforms, on Netflix, right? Rather than going to the cinema halls to watch movies. So advertisement has also shifted from cinema halls to your TV screens or computer screens. If you're watching content on mobile, then of course, Elena, the advertisements will come to your mobile. The customer, the consumer, the audience, the target person has moved online. So how can the advertisers be far behind? The advertisers will be where the target audience is. The current trend, discover and define the advertising task. Currently, this is what you need to do as a client servicing person. Prepare the creative brief, be involved in the creative department, track the advertisement's performance, be present. The advertisement and the client both need you. The audience and the brand, none can do without you. Right? The process has changed. To find out how many people are ordering their groceries online, you now do not need to commission a study, right? First, for market research, you would commission some research agency. Now you can just find it out from the data, which is being collected every time. The target audience have also changed. Mobile first is the thing of today. Consumer decision journey has changed. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they are now the new word of mouth. Earlier, what was word of mouth is now online reviews and online ratings. Win big in real time. Availability of data at every level of marketing and advertising process helps in knowing the impact of a brand campaign within seconds. You don't have to wait for a month to see your advertisement's impact. It is very quick. So, with all this changing scenario, with this digitalization, this mobile first, the role of an account planner and a client servicing person also is changing. So, if I sum up this role, one of the largest departments in any advertising agency is the account servicing department. The main job of account servicing is to keep the work flowing into the agency by establishing good relationships with the client, constantly overseeing the creative department. Account servicing meets with clients, they take responsibility of the work and they meet the deadlines. With the rise in the digital, mobile, OTT, online media, the role of an account planner, a researcher, has changed drastically. Not only this, the role of a content writer, of a creative person, of a media planner has also changed. Right? So, next, in the next unit, now we will discuss the research department. I would again welcome any feedbacks if there are any questions on account planning and creative department from Elena, Mustafa, and the new friend whose name I'm unable to pronounce. I would just request you, Tiange, can you switch on your camera and tell me the real and actual pronunciation of your name? Or probably I would just keep pronouncing it wrongly. Friends, do we take a 30-second break before we start with the next unit? We are left with more 50 minutes and we have three more units to cover. I'll like this only briefly try to cover these units also. So the stage is yours to ask me, to give your comments, to say something about advertising. The unit 6 is on advertising research and campaign planning. This is very, very interesting unit. We will begin with this. Oh, I think there are comments in the chat box. Elena, I have issues with my microphone. These were earlier. Okay. Any questions, friends? I'm taking a 2-minute break for you to be able to seep in this information. We've discussed 2 units. We're left with 3 more units. We will be doing them over next 45 minutes, 15 minutes to each unit. One is research, one is creative, and one is media planning. Any comments, any questions? Please feel free to switch on your microphones and ask me.